Hello, in this video, let us practice solving an inequality. So here is a question, solve, and it is 4x plus 2x, 2 quantity x minus 6 less than 8. So we are solving using the order of operations, which is PEMDAS, which stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And the first step is we simplify following our order of operations in the usual way from top to bottom. So inside the parentheses there is nothing to do because x is unknown, so we can't minus 6 from it. There are no exponents, so both parentheses and exponents are finished. Multiplication, yes, there is a multiplication, and it's between 2 and the parentheses, so we go ahead and do that operation. So 4x, and then the multiplication, 2 times x is positive 2x, 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, and the rest is the same. So that completes multiplication. There was no division. We go to addition, subtraction. So as long as the operation is always true, then we do it. If not, then we don't do it. So 4x and 2x would always be 6x, no matter what the x happens to be. And that completes our addition, subtraction, and that's the end of simplifying. Now we use the same order of operations in reverse, and we undo all the remaining operations. We use the inverse to undo them. So here we have two operations. We have a multiplication by 6 and the minusing of 12. As we begin at the bottom, we're going to come across the negative first. And to cancel negative, we use its inverse, which is plus. So what we're doing to one side, we're doing on the other side, which means we add in 12 to both ends of our inequality. That makes 6x less than 20. At that point, the only thing left to undo is multiplication, and to undo times by 6, we use its inverse, which is the division. So we divide both sides by 6. Since we divide them by positive 6, the inequality sign remains the same. And so now we have x less than 20 over 6. We notice that both numbers are even, so we could reduce by 2, and that makes 10 over 3. So our answer is x less than 10 over 3. Now we could write this in the set builder notation. So set builder, and that simply lists all of our solutions. We have x as a variable, and the answers are such that this vertical line is such that x is less than 10 thirds. Now, in interval notation, if we are asked to use interval notation, then we have to draw the interval where the solutions begin and where it ends. So interval notation. Personally, I am a visual learner, so I prefer to make a diagram. So for myself, I will draw what this less than negative 10 thirds looks like, and to do this I will need to know what 10 thirds actually is, which happens to be 3.333 going on forever. And I could obtain this answer by using the calculator. First, if I wanted to reduce this 20 over 6 using the calculator, I could do that. So here is the calculator, and let us use it to reduce. So here is 20 divided by 6, and we have that decimal 3.333. Now, when we go back to the fractions, the calculator will convert the answer only, will convert it to the simplest fraction, not the original. So when we go to math, change into fraction is the first choice. The answer is 10 thirds, not 20 thirds. So for the on the test or homework, if we wanted to use calculator to reduce, then we can get this 10/3 by simply using the division and going back to fractions. Now, back to the interval notation. So now that I know what the 10/3 actually looks like, I will make a sketch of it. So here are all of my answers. Somewhere on this x-axis is 10/3, which is 3.333. And all of my answers are less than 10/3. Less than is on the left side, so on this side. So this is where all of my answers are. And they go on like this forever, all the way to -infinity. So to write interval notation, we use either parentheses or brackets. The parentheses are used if we have less than, greater than, or infinity, because parentheses mean that we do not include the answer. So what that means is we are not including 10/3. We are looking for the numbers that are just less than 10/3, not actually 10/3. So parentheses means don't include 10/3. Brackets, on the other hand, come when we have equal sign, and when we have equal sign, that means we do include that number in our answer. So in our case, the answer in interval notation will be, where does the answer begin? Well, it begins at -infinity, and infinity is always get the parenthesis. So it begins with a parenthesis, -infinity, comma, where does it end? Well, it ends at 10/3 with also parenthesis. So here are my two answers, one in set builder notation and one in interval notation. Depends on what my question is asking for, or the instructor is asking for. Both describe the same solution. Now, with a calculator, we have a few options that we could use. One of them is we could come here and we could actually make a sketch of, let's clear this, make a sketch of both sides. So in the y equals, here we can type in 4x plus 2 times the quantity x minus 6, and then the second half is 8. So what we're looking for is we're going to make two straight lines. The first one is the left equation, and less than 8. Less than means below. So the question is asking, here's the first line, here comes 8. The question is, where is my blue line, which is the first line, less than or below the red line, which is 8. So after this intersection, right, before this intersection, before the two lines crossed, the blue line was below the red. Now where did they cross? We can use the calculator, second calculate, and find the intersection. So here is, we need the cursor. So the cursor is, oh, I'm way down. So I need to move there's the cursor. So am I on the first curve? Enter confirms it. Did I jump to the second? Enter confirms it. Guess, yes. So the answer is 3.333 up close. That's the same decimal, that same 3.33 that we obtained by hand. So this way we can visually see that before 3.33 we have the answer. Another choice we have, this way we can, the benefit of this is we visually see what the answer means, and we see the decimal that actually works. Now another way for the visual is we could come here into our y equals and instead of doing two separate equations, we can do everything in one. Now here we can go to the second math, which is test second math, and we type in the actual inequality sign, the less than, and then 8. Now here is the picture, and it shows the shading that we have here. This diagram is the same as this diagram. So it showed that our answers are here and not here. The reason it's doing it this way is because when we type in this condition, the calculator is checking all the points where it's true. And if it's true, it says 1. 1 is yes for the calculator, and 0 is no. So if the answer is yes, it makes 1s. If the answer is no, it makes 0s. So on the sketch, what that looks like is we have many yeses. All of these are yes. There's a 1, 1, 1, 1 going all the way to this point, which is 10/3. Now we can't see that it's 10/3, but it is 10/3. So this is all yes, which means 1, 1, 1, 1. That's a height of 1. And then after that is a sequence of no's. No, all the way. That's a 0, 0, 0, which is a calculator speak for no's. So that's how this graph, how we can use the calculator to visually see that we at least found the right type of a solution. But having both on the same with the intersection will give us a little bit more information than this. And that's that for this video. Thanks a lot for your time.